everybody. How you doing? This is RG Codner-Gibson from ACB Math Tutoring, and you're probably like, what is on her head? Skulls, people. Skulls. Trying to work it. So get yourself ready. Get your paper, get your pencil, because we're going to do some math. All right, everyone, welcome back. Guess what? We're going to get some math done today, just like we always do, boo-boo. But you know what? We're going to get this done. So last time we worked on one-step equations. Then we worked on two-step equations. You would think, oh, we're going to do multi-step equations. Pump your brakes, boo-boo, because now we're going to be doing solving equations for variables on both sides. Why is she doing this to me? Because you're doing so well and you're doing the advancement, so why not celebrate this? Let's go. So shift. All right, so we're going to look at Common Core standards. A, CED 0.1, A, REI 0.1, A, REI 0.3, A. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little bit of algebra. So before we get started on today's lesson, let's look at what we did last time with the exit ticket. So we were working on two-step equations. So we have 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 15. So just like a relationship, here's you and your boo. You guys are together. So that 2 and the x, they're together. We cannot separate them from the start, okay? But this plus 1 is trying to break up the relationship. What? So we need to get that person out from the relationship. So we do the opposite. So there's a plus 1, so I'm going to subtract 1. Whatever I do on one side, equal sign, I do to the other. So I bring down my 2x. This plus 1 and the minus 1 cancels out and gives me 0, but 0 is a placeholder, and I don't really need it right now. So negative 15 minus 1 gives me a negative 16. So now I want to get x by itself. Boo was messing up. Now we got to divide boo out of our lives, okay? So we were multiplying, someone messed up, now we got to divide them. So we're going to divide both sides by 2. So now x is by itself, independent woman. Okay, so negative 16 divided by 2, opposite signs means negative, and 16 divided by 2 gives me 8. So the solution for number 1 should be negative 8 for x. So for number 2, same thing. Right now, x divided by 3, they're together. Can't break them up. But this minus 7, we need to get rid of. So we're going to add 7. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other. So negative 7 plus 7 gives me 0. That's a placeholder. Don't really need it right now. And then we have negative 3 plus 7, which gives me 4. So a fraction, that means division. So the inverse of division is multiplication. So we're going to multiply both sides by whatever my denominator is, which is 3. So now I have x is equal to 4 times 3, which gives me 12. So we have our two solutions, negative 8 and a positive 12. If you got that from last time, good job. I know you're going to be rocking this. But let's take a look at what we're going to do today. So you should be saying to yourself by the end of today, I can solve equations with variables on both sides. Yes, you can. Breathe. You're going to get it done. So we looked at the exit ticket. We're doing the guided notes. We're going to do some practice and another exit ticket to represent today's lesson. Now, if you're getting this and you want to just go fast forward, please do that. What I'm going to do today, I'm really going to work this stuff step by step. What? Step by step. Oh, baby, won't you get to you, girl? New Kids on the Block? No. Okay, I need for you to look that up. That's your other assignment. Look up New Kids on the Block. I'm tired of this. Let's go. So, I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. All right, so helpful hints. Remember, the goal is to isolate the variable on one side, the equal sign. Does it really matter? No. But you're probably saying, we keep talking about this over and over again. I know, because every time you're solving equations, you have to deal with the isolation of variable. That's the main goal of why you're doing all this, okay? So if you're adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing on one side of the equation, you must do the same thing on the other side of the equation, all right? So if I'm adding over here, I'm adding over here. If I'm subtracting over here, I'm subtracting over here, okay? Now the main thing is please be careful of those negative signs, okay? We gotta look at those rules of properties of integers when we're doing this. And then you can check your answers through substitution in the original equation. Now, again, step by step. If you got it and you know it, keep going. I got the practice on, all right? Just fast forward. Now, we have 5x minus 6 equals 2x plus 9. So we got two x's, two forms of x's on either side of the equal sign. We need to choose what side we want that variable on. And I know almost every math teacher in the known world is probably screaming, regardless of their nationality, color, creed, whatever. They're all saying, put it on the left side. So let's work it on the left side. All right. So since we're doing this step by step, let's work it on the left side. So this over here is the left side of the equal sign. Okay. So that means 5x is going to stay right where it is. So that means that 2x needs to go to the other side of the equal sign. So if I have to go to the other side, I'm always doing the inverse. So I see it's a positive 2x. And the reason why it's positive is not because of this plus sign. No, that plus sign is associated with the 9. The signs are always in front or the left of the number. So in my case, I'm looking in between the equal sign and that coefficient of 2. If I don't see anything there, that means this 2 is a positive 2. So I have to do the inverse, which is negative 2. And I'm going to bring its x. So whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I'm doing to the other. Okay? So on the right-hand side, this 2x minus x, they're going to equal 0. And 0 is going to be a placeholder. And I really don't need the 0 because I still have this plus 9 that's over here. So I'm going to bring down the 9, bring down the equal sign, bring down the 6 and the negative. But I'm going to combine the 5x minus 2x, which gives me 3x. So now this should look familiar. This should look like what we did last time. So we have 3x minus 6 is equal to 9. So 3x, they're together. They already did the long distance relationship going from one side of the equal sign to the other. Now they're together, they're formed, they're one. All right. So then we want to get rid of the minus 6. So we're going to add 6 on both sides. So negative 6 and plus 6 are going to cancel out. That brings down my 3x, brings down my equals, and now we got 9 plus 6, which gives me my 15. So now this looks like one-step equation. So we got 3x. If I look in between, there's no plus sign, there's no minus sign. So that means this is multiplication. So I have to do the inverse of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide the 3 on both sides. 3 divided by 3 gives me 1x, or just x. And then 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. So if I want to, I can go in and I can check it. So that means I'm going to substitute that 5 for the x in the original equation. So anytime I see an x, I'm putting a 5. And I'm going to put a question mark right over top of that equal sign because I want to know, does both of the sides equal the same number? So now we got 25 minus 6, which gives me what? That 19. And then you got your 10 plus 9, which gives me what? That 19. And does 19 equal 19? Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. Okay, so that's how you know that you did it correctly. So my solution for number 1 is 5, a positive 5. So if I go to number 2, I have negative 3x plus 12 is equal to 4x minus 8. So that means I want to get my variables on one side of the equal sign. I know, people, I hear you. Keep it on the left side. I got it. Read. You're going to give yourself a corner. All right. So the x is on one side equal sign, and this is on the other. So I'm going to leave this negative 6x. So now I'm looking at this 4x. So I notice that 4x right in between, there's no minus sign, there's no negative sign. So that means I'm going to subtract 4x. And if you're saying, well, wait, Miss Gibson, there is a minus sign. But this minus sign is associated with this 8. Okay? I know it looks like a face. So, but that is in front of the number. So that's why this minus is also acting as a negative. All right? But if I look in between the equal sign and that coefficient of 4, I don't see a minus sign. So that means I'm assuming this original 4 is a positive number. So that's why I subtract 4x on both sides. On the right-hand side, I still have my negative 8. I still have my equals. I still have my positive 12. But now I'm going to combine negative 6x and negative 4x. And that gives me a negative 10x. Because when they're both the same sign, you're going to add them together and keep the sign. All right? So now I want to solve for negative 10x. I want to get negative 10x. That negative 4 went across the world to be with her boo. They're together. They're going to stay together. But then this plus 12 is trying to break them up. So we need for that plus 12 to go to the other side. So we're going to subtract 12. Whatever I do on one side, I'm going to do on the other. So this positive 12 and this negative 12 gives me 0. So we got a negative 10x is equal to negative 20. All right. But now, boo is messing up. Need to divide them out. So that negative 10, we're going to do on both sides. Boom and boom. So that means we got x is equal to positive 2. All right. So if I did my check, I'm going to try to squeeze it on in here because I kind of wrote a little bit big. So if I do my check, wherever I have an x, I'm going to put this answer of 2. So it's like here. And we want to see if it equals this. Ooh, that is supposed to be a 2 right there. So negative 6 times 2, that gives me negative 12 plus 12. And then 4 times 2 gives me 8 minus 8. So that means I have 0 equals 0. Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. So since it's a true statement, this 2 that we got for a solution does work. Okay? Now, let's put the puzzle together. All right, we got the idea. I think we're getting it. We need for the variables to be on one side, and the constants, the numbers, are on the other side. So that means the 7n, I hear you, keep your variables to the left. So you have your 7n, and then we have 3n. So we need for this, subtract the 3n. Whatever I do on one side, I do on the other side. Okay, so boom and boom. So 7n minus 3n gives me 4n. I bring down the minus 3. I bring down the equals, and I bring down the 5. Okay, what we're doing, because I did take it to a different route, so hopefully we're getting it. So now we want to keep the 4n right where it is. So that means the negative 3's got to go. All right, so if it's a minus 3, that means we're going to add 3. So negative 3 plus 3, cancel out, give me 0. So I can bring down my 4n. I don't need that placeholder. So 5 plus 3 gives me 8. And then we have 4n is equal to 8. So that means we need to divide. Someone messed up. So n is equal to 8 divided by 4, which gives me 2. So if I go back to substitute, wherever I see an n, I'm going to put a 2. So 7 times 2, that gives me 14 minus 3. 3 times 2 gives me 6 plus 5. 14 minus 3 gives me 11. 6 plus 5 gives me 11. Is that a true statement? Yes, it is. Okay? So hopefully we're kind of getting this. So that was the examples. And you're probably like, what? More? Yes, more. Hi. And any of these, if you feel like, hey, I just want to see if I get it, you can turn it off, work out these two problems, and we'll see if we can get the same answer. And you're probably like, well, Ms. Gibson, didn't we already do number one? Did we? Maybe. All right, so give it a try. All right. So if you're with me, hopefully you are subtracting my 3n. And maybe somebody that's a little more advanced will probably say, couldn't we also add 3 on both sides? If my n's are going to go to my left side, don't I want my constant to be on the right side? Yes, you can. If you want, you can add 3 on both sides. And basically, you can handle 2 situations in one spot. Meaning, -3 plus 3, they'll cancel out, give me 0. 3n minus 3n, they will cancel out and give me 0. So what's left over? So 7n minus 3n, that gives me 4n. And then 5 plus 3, that gives me 8. So now I can go right into my one-step equation. Okay, so if you're saying all my n's are going to go to the left, that means all my constants are going to go to the right. So instead of you doing those extra steps that we did, for all these examples, okay, right around here, okay, this step right here, we basically just combine 2 steps into one, okay? You may like it, you may not like it. If you feel that, hey, I just want to do it step by step, not a problem. Still, you guys don't know New Kids on the Block? What? So 8 divided by 4, that gives me 2. So my solution for number 1 is 2. So if I go to number 2, all right, if we're going to keep my numbers or my variables on the left-hand side and probably put my constants on the right-hand side, that means this -4x needs to move over to the other side, the equal sign. So I have to do the opposite. So I'm going to add 4x. Okay, I'll take a step by step for this one. So 8x plus 4x, that gives me 12x. You can bring down your -8, bring down your equals, and since -4x plus 4x will give me 0, I don't have to put it down because I don't need the placeholder because I already have the 16 there. Because anything plus 0 is going to be itself. So now I want to keep this 12x right where it is. So I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So you have your 12x is equal to your 24. Forgot the x. So now I want to get x by itself. So that means I have to divide both sides by 12. And then x equals 2. I have an obsession with 2 today. Okay? So if you plug the 2's back in, that means you have 16 minus 8, which gives me 8. And then you have 2 times 4, that gives me a -8. And then -8 plus 8, that gives me 8. Sorry, I just had to bring it. And then does 8 equal 8? Yes, it does. I think it's the skulls. It's like getting to my brain. All right. So, and then plus the obsession that there's probably people that don't know who New Kids on the Block is, but we'll go back to that. All right, so to sum everything up, hopefully you understand that you can solve equations with variables on both sides, as long as you know that I'm going to take my variable and I'm going to put it on one side. I hear you guys, on the left side, okay? But in all actuality, it really doesn't matter. But I think since we're going through this step by step, why not have a pattern of keeping it to the left side, okay? So we have did that. We looked at that. We looked at this. We did the practice. exit ticket. All right, so we have two problems. All right, so you have 7x plus 10 is equal to 3x plus 50, and n plus 30 equals 12n minus 14. So all I want you to do is try to combine everything and give me what my answer is. So, like always, this has been an awesome time. And if you're new to this channel, welcome. And why not? Hopefully you guys like these videos and you want to keep things going. I know, I'm a little crooked. And if you want, like and subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll know when the next video is going to come. And for those that have been here for a while, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for your time and your attention. I'm really proud of you because it seems like most of the comments I'm getting has been like great. You know, everybody's like, yeah, I really got this. Why don't you have more subscribers? I don't know, but we're working on it. All right, so hopefully everyone's enjoying this. And remember, enjoy your day. And I appreciate you. Thank you.